What's good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the collective clips where you already know. Gun's about to get it in. Really, she knows the other night I was about to get it. I did get it in. I got it in with her and her sister, but shh, she'll know about her sister. She told me you can do this and that, but I hope she don't watch this shit. But whatever. It just be like that sometimes. But let's get it in. Hit that like and subscribe button thing. Put your notification bell on all. So that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun is kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. We're going up on this channel. It's all because of you. And for that, I'm very humbled and very appreciative. So are you guys ready for a different type of super? A new super. Super Flecha. The super Indios. Super Native Americans, right? Yeah, I've been around some crazy Native Americans. Do I call them Indians? Nah, because they're not Indios. They're actually Native Americans. And I've been around them to the point that I didn't want to be around this particular one anymore because this motherfucker was different. So there was two brothers. Okay, actually there's 3 or 4 brothers, but the 2 brothers that I happened to do time with, I did time with in the state of Oregon, and these vatos were with the shenanigans. Totally different mentalities, totally with the program. One of them was just, you think Pepe's bad? He said, he fucking does a lot of black. He said, I don't even think I can keep up. This vato was different. This vato, I swear, was on the yard robbing motherfuckers with a deer antler knife. To what degree a deer antler knife? The real one, right? I don't know where he got it from, but he was out there handling business. So anyways, there was 2 brothers that were from Klamath Modoc, the Klamath Modoc tribe, right? And this tribe is not like the casino tribes that have all the money, that get these big fat checks. These guys didn't get shit. So here's 2 super stories about 2 super brothers who did some super activities on 2 super different yards. So I'm in a yard called OSP, the Oregon State Prison. And this is an old penitentiary, right? And this is where I had the, I guess, the privilege of doing time with Irish Pride, which is, of course, J.D. DeLay's people. There were several different groups. European Kindred, the EKs. There was the IPS. There was several blacks, unaffiliated, non-affiliated, Bloods, Crips, a few Northerners, gang of Southerners. A little bit of everybody was sprinkled in, right? The mentality was different. The politics were different. But it was still prison. You get your shit chopped off. You fuck around, ID channel. It was real life, right? So I happened to be cool with a lot of the natives because at that time, the natives functioned real cool with Northerners. There was actually a couple Northerners that were Native Americans. And because they were really, really ingrained with the philosophies and their culture and their people, even though they were Norteños, they still got invited to the sweats. They still did the powwows. They still did everything that the natives do. So I functioned on the yard meeting a lot of natives. And there was one guy in particular, skinny, looked like a goddamn eagle. This motherfucker looked like Sitting Bull or fucking Crazy Joe or whatever his name was, right? Just would mob around with the fucking feather in his head. To what degree of feather? A crow feather. Boop, blap. He was real life, right? And I remember asking a homeboy, like, who's that vato right there, right? Psh, he was super native himself. He was like, oh, that's Levi. Levi's with the shit, right? And I was like, all right. So he was a lifer. He was already doing life for so many different things. I mean, it was so bad. This guy was so bad, they kicked him off the REZ. Like, they didn't want him there anymore. He was that treacherous and dangerous. So I'd heard all these stories about him, but I never seen him in action until one day. So what happens is this young white guy gets on the yard and he's balling out of control. He's hitting for dope. He's doing his thing. And I could see it from a distance. And there was a lot of jealous people of this guy. But this guy was protected by a group called West Side G's, right? They were like Crips, but they were white Crips. It's different in Oregon, right? So this guy was not a West Side G, but he was protected by them. His cellie just happened to be a West Side G. So I see all the natives. This guy was claiming that he was part native, but he was white. I mean, you could tell he was blonde hair, blue eyes. And they didn't like that. They didn't like imposters, people that were trying to claim the fame or all of a sudden they're Cherokee, right? Going over there and kicking it. And so this dude asked if he can go to a sweat. Now, the way to go to the native sweats in prisons, you got to be invited if you're not a certified native. If you're a native, you got that coming right off the top. You kick it with your people. It is what it is. But they are allowed to invite people. I've been to a sweat. That shit was hot than a motherfucker. I was in the buffalo round. I don't know if you're native, but if you're native, you know what a buffalo round is. I was putting fucking sand on me. I was trying to bury myself in the mud. It was all bad. You motherfuckers are different, right? He was like, just go with the spirit, brother. Oh, just go with the spirit. I was like, the spirit says get the fuck out of here because my fucking skin is going to the spirit. I was in the spirit realm for reals. I was passing out. There's natives all passed out and shit, snoring. It was all bad. The elder that was there, that motherfucker was just sitting there just sweaty, just He was like the shaman. He was shaking and shit. They was in there smoking. I was in there trying to smoke a frao. It was all bad, right? So I've been through that. I know what it is. Well, this guy he kept asking the natives if he can get involved. They were like, if you could show paperwork, there's like paperwork that they could show that you're part native, then yeah, you're more than welcome. But if not, no. Now you got to understand, he was boss balling. So he felt that if he hooked up a couple of the natives with the plug, like plugged him in on some of that clear, right? Then he can get in. So he gets in. Now, Levi was very quiet. One thing he hated was people trying to play native, right? He was a lifer. He was in his own situation. He was a broke motherfucker at that time. He didn't have a lot of money, but he was about to get your money, right? He was known on that yard for taking your shit. Like literally will take your shit. And you got to understand, this is not like California where if someone gets their shit took, the whole yard kicks off and you're about to be locked down for a year and a half. It was none of that. Here is survival to the fittest. If you get your shit took and you're not part of a group, then you're fucking just got your shit took or your shit pushed in. Ask Wes Watson, he'll tell you. That's just how that is, right? So this guy goes to the sweat, fucking bows out after the second round. My fucking skin's on fire. Well, of course it is. Your skin's translucent. Motherfucker, I can see embers embedded in your skin. It was all bad, right? And so Levi acted like he took a liking to this guy, but really didn't, right? So one day we're on the yard, and the word was that Levi was going to peel this dude's cap. He was going to get this dude, right? So everyone's like, I was like, I've been hearing about this dude Levi, but I never really seen him really put in no work like that, right? Shit. This motherfucker got the white dude, snatched him. This dude had like a long hair. He was trying to grow his hair out so he could be native. He was like trying to gravitate towards the whites, the white Crips to the natives, and they didn't give a fuck. They were getting canteen, dope, whatever, right? This fucking dude Levi, they were walking on the yard together. And I thought they were homeboys. He was smart, man. He planned this out for like a couple weeks. They're walking the yard. They see him. I'm like, maybe the white dude is becoming native right before our eyes. Man, this motherfucker Levi snatched him. And I seen a knife literally with a deer antler I don't know where he got this shit from, right? Motherfucker in prison with a deer antler knife. Real life. Grabbed this dude and started cutting his fucking hair off his head, like scalping him. Real life. Because the youngster didn't want to fucking plug him in with the dope connect. So I was like, oh shit. After that, this fool ends up going to the hole, catches a fucking IMU term, which is the equivalent of the shoe, comes out and was just whacked out of his mind, was all out, just native fucking rush, was on the yard, hitting everything and everyone. Ultimately, man, that dude went to fucking parts unknown. I never seen him again. He was crazy. So fast forward years, I'm in another prison, right? And I see a few natives, man. There was one native named Tiawani. He was hella cool. He was good people, kind of heavy set native dude with a fucked up eye. And we're chilling, and I used to chop it up with them, play basketball, whatever. And this institution that I was at was like a state-of-the-art institution. They had just built it, this prison. And so this prison had like different buildings. Like you could be in one building and not see another. It was just different. They had started sending all the Norteños there, all the Northerners. They had just opened it, right? And so again, man, because the natives were cool with the Northerners, we were cool. There was actually a group of natives, I think out of Salem, Oregon, that were fucking Norteños. They were called like NDN or some shit like that. I forget, man. But anyways, so I'm cool with this dude, and he introduces me to a dude named Crisp. And this dude, Crisp, was actually Levi's little brother. Very low-key, professional, quiet. One thing I've learned about the natives, they're either loud or they're not. They remind me a lot of the Usos. They're very humble, very quiet, but they're nothing to be fooled or fucked with. You could tell. And so this dude was just a laid-back character, cool. I was like, we took a liking to each other. What's up, bro? What's up? Didn't know him like that, but when I seen him in passing on the yard, it's like, whatever. Anyways, trip out on this. So they get involved in a riot. This is exactly how the riot went down. This was the first riot, they took over the fucking prison for a minute, right? This was a real riot. So there was a very well-known dude from a group called West Side Mafia, right? They're from Salem too. They're like, there's Crips and there's a little bit of everything, but they're on some gangster shit. This dude was actually with the fucking program. He was in there for shooting his probation officer. Like he went to his probation officer's house, took him hostage, shot his probation officer. They ended up shooting him fucking in his fucking, when they convicted him. I seen the front page newspaper. They convicted him. This motherfucker was throwing up West Side and shit. He didn't give a fuck, right? He was a gangster. White dude though. He looked like a Backstreet Boy. Facts. But he was well known and well respected within the system. So anyways, he's in the oil. I'm in the hole at the time. Chopping it up with him. He was my taita, man, my good partner, right? So we're chopping it up. He's like, oh yeah, I get out of the hole tomorrow, whatever. So the way they do it there was you'd get out of the hole, but you're still on a lockdown situation for 21 days. It was either 2 weeks or 21 days. I forget. It's been so long. But meaning that you still have to be in your cell. You still couldn't go on any movements. But you got to go to Chow, and Chow was like right there in front of you. Like they bring you out into the day room and they bring like this big old cart. That's how you got Chow. It was like a county jail setup. And so anyways, he's going to the building. And so as soon as he gets to the building, he was Unit 9, I believe. He gets to Unit 9. Everyone knows him. So everyone's coming to his door, showing him love. And now these cops that work there, they were assholes. There was one cop in particular. He was a sergeant. He was known to be ruthless, right? Like he fucked with people all day, every day. That was his get down. That's just what he was. He treated you bad. And so people always talked about what they wanted to do to him, but no one ever did it, you know? And so the makeup of this building, it's a long building. Looks like a 270 design, kind of, but more square. They had a control tower, but the control tower was easy to accessible, right? It wasn't like real high. It was like right there. You walk through a door, go through another door, you're in the control tower. So you'd have two cops on the unit, one that was always stood in the control tower and one that walked around. Usually that sergeant would be walking around. This day, they had a female officer working in there, right? Her name was Miss Post. I'll never forget, right? She was cool. I mean, she ended up becoming cool after this incident, but before she was kind of salty, right, to people. She gonna learn today, right? So anyways, what happened was that homie had come out and everyone's gravitating towards his door. They had ice machines, so they're shooting him ice, soda, all kinds of shit. And these cops are like, get away from his door, get away from his door. So they don't like him because they feel he's stirring up a lot of shit. And he was one of the homies that, like, if he said he had power, like if he told someone to do something, shit would crack off just on his word, just because he was well known and he was a gangster like that. So he had a homeboy from West Side G's there that was, I guess he was half native, half white, whatever, right? And that dude Chris was on that unit, Tijuana, a couple other natives, a couple white boys, right? White men, excuse me. And they're on this unit, and something happened where the homie that was in the cell, they shot him some ice, and that sergeant came outside of the control booth. Now he fucked up because he came out of the control booth, and now you have him and that other female officer outside. No one's in the control booth. They're slipping. Okay, motherfuckers wait on shit like that. They watch. And so when they come out, they're both at the cell door yelling at him like, "You're gonna shoot that ice back?" He's like, "I ain't giving you guys shit. Get the fuck up out of here," right? And so they're arguing back and forth, and the dude from West Side G's came out of, and I can tell you the story because they all got convicted, did time over. It was well known, right? He came out of the side and just blasted that cop. Boom! The sergeant knocked him out of his fucking boot heels, right? Boom! Sergeant falls. Natives start going crazy. I swear, man. They said arrows was being shot in that motherfucker. Natives came from everywhere, right? They start smashing on these two cops. They take the female. They're not weirdos, right? So they take the female, they put her in this like little office and they lock the door. They take the keys, go in the control tower, start popping doors to chomos and weirdos and smashing them, right? Not whacking them, killing them, but smashing them bad. They broke every window in this place. They actually took over the unit for several hours before the task, the SWAT, everyone came in and shut it down, right? This dude, Chris, was running around, right? Like his brother with the fucking, he took the cop's jacket on and he's talking about, everybody, sell in. He's going crazy, super native, just fucking nuts, right? So these guys all end up getting snatched up, put in the hole. I'm in the hole. Everyone's hearing about it. Damn, the institution's on lockdown. These motherfuckers took over a whole building. Facts, they really did that, right? So now they're in the hole with me, whatever, right? So I ended up catching an IMU term and I go back to OSP, right? So I'm in OSP in the IMU, but it's separated and segregated from the main line. You're like in the shoe, right? And I run into Levi in there. He's in the shoe. And like I said, I hadn't seen him for a while. So he's my neighbor. And I'm talking to him like, "Hey, bro, yeah, your brother." And then they got off over there. He's like, "I don't give a fuck. Watch what I'm going to do." Right? So I'm like, all right. And he's very quiet, man. Like I'd shoot him like magazines. He'd shoot me shit. But like we never really talked. He just didn't have words. He was like a real native. Like if you weren't native, he didn't even want to fucking talk to you. He was different, right? So anyways, trip out on one day what happens. So it's based off the shoe program. They come to your cell. They tell you, "Hey, turn around, submit to restraints." They put handcuffs on you. You got to put your hand out the tray slot. Click, click. They put like a dog collar on the thing. And usually it's two officers walking you. They'll grab you by your fucking elbow and walk you. There's a lot of dudes that'll shrug off like, "Hey, man, don't grab me by my elbow. I know where I'm going," right? But they'll take you. And the only places you leave to is either medical, school, the yard, which was a concrete fucking nothing you throw a handball in. Kind of like the video you see of Pelican Bay. Same shit. Or you go to the showers, right? Once they get you in the shower, they'll unclip you, and it's like every other day. One day you get a shower, next day you get yard. If you have medical or whatever, it's whenever, right? Well, there was these two rookie cops that were working there. And what had happened was, I guess Levi was plotting on one of them. And he was telling everybody in his whispery ass voice, wait till I get out, right? So this dude was all talk. To me, I seen him scalp a motherfucker, but it was like, bro, you ain't gonna get no action. No, it wasn't like you think. No one passed in front of your cell, really. These holes that were in front of your doors, you couldn't fit no fucking nothing through. Like, there was no action there to really get off on anyone. I seen 2 incidents there. I'll tell you about them. This one and one other with a northerner. He stabbed a southerner in the eye with a pencil, right? That was the homeboy from Turlock. He got off in the school area. He plotted that shit for like a year, right? Anyways, this is what happens. These 2 rookie cops, they clip him. He's like, hey, don't grab me. And he had a key, a fucking handcuff key. And so when they put him in the shower, they didn't close the shower door correctly. They figure, he's handcuffed. So one of the cops goes, hey, I got to grab my keys from up there. Just hold him here. That fool popped his shit and whacked the dog shit out of that black guy. The other one was so scared he didn't know where he was. He hit his button and he's screaming, help, help, right? Because he thinking this fool Levi's coming out there fucking crazy ass skinny fucking native like, I was like, oh, fuck. I'm up on the top tier looking down like, this motherfucker did that shit, blood, right? This motherfucker came out. I was like, on Paru. Right? He came out. He did his thing. They ended up snatching him up, of course. But the natives are different. You know, I ran into a lot of them. So let me tell you about the other little incidents since we got time. So there was a homie there. He was a youngster. He was from Turlock. I forget his fucking name. There was 3 northerners at the time on the tier. It was me, the homeboy Tomas from Sacra, and this youngster come. And this youngster comes straight off the boat, off the banana boat, straight Tony Montana status. They put him, he's like, hey, I'm a norteño. And I'm like, hey, I never heard about you. Now, the system's small, so everyone hears about everyone. So I'm like, I never heard about you, bro. Whatever. And I was getting close to paroling, so I wasn't trying to hear about shit. So he's like, he's on the tier. And now no one bumps baking soda breath on the doors. Everyone that's there, this is like a shoe program type thing. Everyone's been there for a second, right? But there's this youngster that comes from 18th Street, and he's fucking getting into it with that northerner, and they're wolfing back and forth. And I shoot the little northerner a weed out, like, hey, we don't get down. The homeboy Tomas gets at him when he passes his cell, like, hey, bro, kill that shit. Like, we keep it cool right here. We're just not talking like that. And that little youngster's a nut. He's just going off. There's something in the blood, the water in Turlock called meth, that they're just crazy, right? So him and that little dude are going at it. So what they would do is they signed up for a schooling. Usually they would keep North and South separate. They would take Southerners to school, and then they would take Northerners to school like an hour later, right? Which me and Tomas weren't going to school. He was the only one. The whole reason he signed up for school is because he knew eventually he was going to catch up with this dude, at least in the hallway and passing. And dudes do that. When you have all kinds of time, you just wait. You ain't got nothing but time to wait. So he had this pencil. He didn't have a piece. He had a fucking long, sharp pencil that I guess he would take with him, cheeked every day, hoping he can catch up with this dude. Well, they fucked up. What happened was they got a new teacher, and the teacher didn't want to have separate classes, wanted to have like an orientation to introduce himself. Mistake. They put these dudes in the cell. Now, you go into the school, they either handcuff you to the desk or they handcuff behind you still, right? So you can't really do nothing. Shit, that motherfucker had a key cuff too. Everyone was making them. That motherfucker popped this shit and put the motherfucking pencil through the southerner's eye. That's a fact, right? It was crazy. I remember fucking the alarm went off. We're like, oh shit, little homie got off. He really got off. He did do that, right? They brought him back to his cell. Other dude went to the fucking infirmary, and that was it. Southerners like, we're killing all you motherfuckers when we see you. I was like, see, you done fucked it up for all of us. Oh well, we're one up this time, right? So that's just how that was. But as far as the super natives go, I've ran into a lot of natives. I ran into one on the streets. I ran into him a while back. Okay, he was native, but he's a whole different story. I don't even know what to label him or say. I will say this, he's native. He looks native than a motherfucker, right? You know real natives, you could tell. They have that. They look like eagles and shit. You could just tell, or Oaxacans. This dude right here was different. So I'll be telling his story sometime this week. He's actually the real super fucking Native American. The other two were just the native brothers that were crazy, man. I hear nowadays like Levi's still doing all day. I don't know. His brother, all them dudes that did that riot, they ended up catching like 8 or 9 years for that shit, I think. I remember they fought that shit for like a year. They were in the hole for a long ass time. When I left to the fucking to the IMU, the shoe, they were still in there fighting that case. Then I heard they all got, or they took deals. All of them took deals on it. A couple of them told, not the native dudes, they fucking stood solid, but a couple dudes told. In fact, the one that cracked it off, he's the one that told on everyone. It was weird. Anyways, with that being said, that's my super native brothers. Long hair, don't care. Don't fuck with natives, especially the dudes that try to play native. You know, the dudes blonde hair, blue eyes, talking about, I'm a Cherokee from Oklahoma. Yeah, well, you're going to find out it ain't no Joklahoma, homie, right? They'll be on you. I see that happen plenty of times. With that being said, I got some more content coming on this channel today. Super Norteño on your motherfucking neck. Be ready for it. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive and struggle for what I truly believe in, and that's showing respect to my native brothers. We all got native blood in us. We just ain't got enough to go to the powwow. And that's fucked up because that fry bread is bomb. The gun.